Hello guys, gals and non-binary pals. Welcome to another episode of repotting 500 trees over the course of 5 or 6 days. Each of the 30 seconds of compressed footage that you see here took around an hour, so in total this represents around 9 or 10 hours of volunteering. You can see I think there are 4 or 5 outfit changes during this video, so that was separate occasions on which I was repotting around 100 trees per time. I took this as a time lapse for your entertainment, but also to give me the opportunity to regale you with my oak tree facts, which I looked up on the Woodland Trust website, which I highly recommend. It's excellent as a resource. The first fact is that oak trees in general, not each individual tree on its own, support 2,300 different species. And that is not inclusive of bacteria or microorganisms, so the actual total is much higher. Of these, 326 species depend on oak for survival, and 229 species are rarely found on any other tree. These are from the James Hutton Institute and other participating organisations who did a study in 2019. Oak trees live to around 1,000 years old, but they're not considered ancient trees until they are 400 years old. These trees that you see before you are around 10 years old. They were planted as acorns, and we've been growing them on since then, repotting them as necessary, and they will be planted out in a dedicated woodland. Oak trees also support a range of insects, some very specifically for oak trees alone, such as the oak mining bee, which exclusively feeds on oak pollen, and caterpillars of both the purple hairstreak butterfly, of which I hope to become one in my next life, and the dark crimson underwing moth, which sounds really cool. I'm going to look up a photograph of one of those later. Oaks also support 31 different species of mammals. These include badger, wild boar, squirrels, both the native red squirrels that we have in Scotland and the non-native American grey squirrels. They also support wood mice and other mammals like bats. They are roosts specifically for Bechstein's bats and the rare barbastelle bats. But they also support birds, nuthatches and jays. I'm going to regale you with corvid facts about jays. This isn't in my list, but I can't help myself. Eurasian jays are one of my favourite corvids. They're not like the American blue jays. They're not blue all over. They're incredibly elusive, and they only have a tiny little blue streak on one of their wings. You are much more likely to hear them than you are to see them, and if you see one, you're pretty lucky. We actually have quite a lot of them now, and up until 2020 I had never seen one, and then I saw one and it was incredibly exciting, and since then I've seen more, so keep your eyes out if you're in the woods. Jays are also responsible for planting a lot of the oak trees that we have. Like squirrels, they will bury the acorns but only remember to come back for a certain number of them, and then you get the acorns sprouting into small saplings. I went way off track here. Back to invertebrates. 1,178 invertebrates use oak, of which 257 rely solely on oak, and then these invertebrates attract more birds, such as the red-listed tree pipit, the amber-listed redstart, and the red-listed wood warbler. In total, the oak trees support 38 species of birds. And fungi. They support 108 types of fungi, including 57 which rely solely on oak, which is incredible. And I have a little bit of time left to tell you some cool oak facts, which are more about the association in folklore. So in folklore and mythology, the oak tree is usually representative of strength. At one time it was quite common for weddings to take place in oak groves or under oak trees, and of course druids would have used the oak groves as a sacred space for rites and rituals. They are highly associated with lightning. This is likely because they would have been the highest tree in the surrounding area and are much more susceptible to being struck by lightning. So they therefore have an association with the gods like Zeus and Jupiter. But they also have an association with the Celtic god the Dagda. And I'm fairly certain that I'm going to run out of time now, so I hope you enjoyed all of my oak tree facts, and I will be back with more because I have so much more than I have video, and we also have so many more trees to plant. So I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you to everyone who took part, and thank you for everyone who listened. I'll see you guys later. So for those who stayed to the end, there is actually one extra oak tree fact I want to give you, and that is that acorns are also human food. We are also mammals and we can consume acorns, although they need to be leached of tannins first. And last year on the 2025 Wild Biome Project, I did use acorns as one of my food sources for a 100% foraged only diet, and I will be doing another month-long project in September, and again using acorns. So I think that's pretty cool. And that takes us to the end of the video. So thank you for watching.